Democratic Representative Karen Bass, California, member of the House Judiciary Committee, and your colleague, the Democratic leader in the House, calling for a Department of Justice investigation. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think that's very important to have happen.
What do you think needs to happen, given the fact that we now know there's all this behind-the-scenes jockeying? We know that the White House is at least trampled on this sort of protective sphere, this norm about what communication you have with the FBI about an ongoing investigation. What do you think needs to happen now?
Well, I mean, I definitely think that there needs to be a thorough investigation. I think that the White House needs to consider, sending Reince Priebus the way of Flynn. But there's so much more that's happening here. And, to me, I don't see this disconnected from Trump's attack on the press. Because to me, he seems like he's laying the basis for that when the truth finally comes out about the Russian connection, that at least his base will no longer believe what comes out, in the press. Because anything that's negative is fake news. So to me, I see it as all interconnected, but I believe that there absolutely should be an investigation, and that they have to understand, and we're only 30 days into this presidency, they have to understand that the FBI and that the intelligence agencies are not the propaganda arm of the White House.
I just want to go back to something you said. You said Reince Priebus should be sent the way of Michael Flynn. You believe he should be fired over this?
Right, I absolutely do. Because it's not the only thing. I mean, again, trying to pressure the Department of Justice, the intelligence agencies to speak on your behalf. I understand what Mr. Dean said in terms of it not being breaking a law, but certainly violating regulations. But what does this say about this White House? I remember when President Obama was giving his farewell speech, and he said that we need to protect our democracy. I actually thought about that statement as a little rhetorical. I was thinking about the Voting Rights Act specifically, but I feel like over the last 30 days, so many aspects of our democracy have been trampled upon. And I think that for the White House to get its act together, I think it would send the right message, just as the dismissal of Flynn did. But they didn't dismiss him until they absolutely had to.
Right, and in fact, the president has said that essentially they made a mistake in doing so, that it was the fault of the media. I'm curious, this polling, which I found a little surprising, I have to say. Should Congress investigate Trump-Russia connection? 53% yes, 25% saying no, no opinion, 21%. Is that square with what you hear from your constituents?
Oh, my goodness, no. I mean, I had town halls over the weekend, 500 the first day, 800 the second day, and I will tell you that the anxiety level is so high, and one of the main things that people want to have happen is an investigation, because they're concerned. People are afraid about a war being launched by this president, and so they see all of this as being intertwined, and this is just so much, out of the ordinary in terms of our tradition and our allies, that demanding an investigation, well, I tell you one thing, in terms of the audience at my town halls, it was a lot more than 53%.
All right, Representative Karen Bass, thanks for your time this evening. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Joining